The Galactic Council had a rulebook for everything. After 3,000 years of diplomacy between 47 species, they'd learned that first contact with a new civilization had to be handled with care. Ambassador Krell adjusted his ceremonial robes, reviewing the final briefing. An unidentified ship had been spotted near Sector 7. His assistant read the early scan results. Looks like basic tech, fusion drives, weak energy shields, and even chemical boosters for backup. Krell nodded, satisfied. Another young species stepping into space. It was always the same. These newcomers arrived in clunky ships, eyes full of wonder, ready to be guided, to learn the ways of galactic peace. Their flagship, Eternal Harmony, was built as a symbol of that peace. Polished crystal halls, art from every corner of the galaxy, and meditation gardens under transparent domes. Everything about it radiated wisdom and calm. "Prepare the standard greeting," Krell said. "Full protocol. Welcome gifts, cultural exchange team, the works." As they approached, the human ship came into view. Krell's smile faded. It wasn't like the others. This vessel looked built for war. Sharp angles, dark metal plating, no art, no insignias, just rows of sealed weapon ports, cold and silent. Primitive but efficient, his aide muttered. A military design. Classic behavior from a young species. Eternal Harmony sent out the universal greeting. Peaceful math patterns, star charts, a message of unity. The reply came quickly. "This is Captain Miller of the UE Defiant. We're explorers from Earth. We come in peace." Krell relaxed slightly. Their language had already been decoded. He activated the hologram to appear on their screen. "Greetings, Captain Miller. I am Ambassador Krell of the Galactic Council. Your species shows potential. We welcome you to join our peaceful alliance." Then Miller appeared, older than expected, face scarred, eyes tired, the look of someone who's seen war. "Peaceful alliance?" he asked. "Good to hear. We've been wondering what we'd find out here, friends or enemies." Krell responded proudly. "The Council has kept peace for thousands of years. We solve problems through dialogue and mutual respect. Violence is the past." Miller gave a slow nod. "That's a nice idea. But let me ask, what do you do when someone doesn't believe in peace?" "Education and time," Krell replied. "Even the wildest species learn peace when shown a better way." Miller paused. "And if they attack you?" Before Krell could answer, his aide leaned in, tense. Incoming movement. 3 ships, raiders, skull-marked hulls. Pirates, the same ones who'd been haunting Council trade routes for months. Fast, brutal, and gone before help could arrive. Krell took a breath. "Captain Miller, we may have a situation. Pirates are closing in. Please stay back while we attempt negotiations." The raider leader appeared on the screen moments later. His face was scarred, and mechanical limbs replaced parts of his body, a brutal reminder of the kind of passengers now fall under raider law. Ambassador Krell stepped forward, still hoping for diplomacy. "I am Outlaw, who had rejected the Council's peaceful ways." "Council ship," he growled. "Prepare to be boarded." "Your cargo, Ambassador Krell. Surely we can negotiate. What do you want? Perhaps a trade deal?" The raider let out a cold, guttural laugh. "We want your surrender, Ambassador. Resist, and be destroyed." "Please," Krell said firmly but calmly. "Violence helps no one. Let's talk terms." "There are no terms," the raider snapped. "Submit, or die." A second later, the Eternal Harmony jolted violently. Raider weapons had opened fire. Alarms blared through the once serene ship. Inside, panicked crew members, scholars, diplomats, and peacekeepers rushed through corridors, trained for philosophy, not combat. Captain Miller Krell transmitted urgently, "We are under attack. Please leave while you can. Alert Council Defense Forces." But Miller's voice came back calm, steady, almost to calm. "Negative, Ambassador. We don't leave allies behind." Krell protested, desperate. "Captain, your ship is outmatched. The raiders have advanced weaponry. You won't survive." Miller's reply was sharp and simple. "Watch and learn." Then, without warning, the Defiant surged forward, engines glowing white-hot as it shot straight toward the attackers. What happened next stunned everyone aboard the Eternal Harmony. The human ship opened fire with weapons. The Council had never seen high-speed projectiles ripped through the raider shields like they were nothing. Missiles launched from hidden pods, homing in on targets with deadly precision. Beams of energy cut into enemy hulls with surgical accuracy. But it wasn't just the firepower that shocked them, it was the way Defiant moved. Miller pulled off combat maneuvers that defied every known principle of space warfare. The ship spun, twisted, and looped with perfect control, dodging enemy blasts and striking back with terrifying efficiency. In under 5 minutes. 2 of the raider ships were destroyed, floating wrecks. The third tried to escape, but a final wave of missiles caught it mid-jump, tearing it apart before it could vanish into hyperspace. "Raiders neutralized," Miller reported, his tone flat and focused. "Scanning for survivors." Krell stared in disbelief. The human vessel, crude by Council standards, had just done what their entire fleet had failed to do for months. And even more shocking, the humans weren't finished. Rescue pods were already being launched to recover surviving raiders from the debris. "How?" Krell whispered. Miller's face returned to the screen, his eyes heavy with transparency. Ambassador, my people learned a long time ago. Peace is precious, but it must be defended. Some beings only understand force. Krell's aide still looked confused, but your ship, it looked so basic. Miller gave a small nod. Basic doesn't mean weak. We design our ships for war, not because we want it, but because we've seen what happens when predators roam free. We hope for peace, but we're always ready for a fight. As the rescue efforts continued around him, Krell stood silently, the foundations of his beliefs shaken. Everything he thought he knew about primitive species was suddenly up for it. Wasn't just about art, philosophy, or diplomacy anymore. As the dust settled, Ambassador Krell realized something the Galactic Council had long forgotten in their thousands of years of peaceful living. True civilization isn't just about culture, it's about protecting it. Strength, when used to shield peace, is part of what makes a society truly advanced. Captain Miller, Krell said at last. His voice quiet but resolute, it seems. We have a great deal to learn from one another. Miller smiled, the first real smile Krell had seen on his scarred face, and it changed everything. That's the point of exploration, Ambassador Miller said. Learning from those we meet, and growing stronger together. The Council would never be the same after that day. First contact with humanity hadn't just introduced them to a new species, it had reawakened a truth they had forgotten. Sometimes, the greatest peace comes from those who are prepared to fight for it. Rethinking.